still out here fighting.
Good evening.
I'm a piano, it's a big vibe, but the girls them know. Steadily, heavily. I'm a piano, it's a big vibe, but the girls them know. They see me coming, then they shout hallelujah. Every day it be like a new year. Overseas they want chop me like suya. I know big dog, but this do ya. Tire so greasy, he dey dance like Chris Breezy, easy. On my wrist, they cold, they freeze you. Them know they call me Mr. Money for no reason. I see they go, I'm a piano. We go show, we go let them know. Now we dey run the town and any show. We got than any woe, stronger than any foe. Bad man flows, put them on their toes. On the low, they got them know. My bed is short, South Jamo, Colorado. Pass me the fatty don't go. Piano, it's a big vibe, but the girls them know. Steadily, heavily. I'm a piano, it's a big vibe, but the girls them know.
Yeah, what you call? Oko nigino. Bang, bitches want to wale sherry one. Turn me up, we are carry on.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our 5th episode on Business Week. I really appreciate your joining on time, and as we wait for others to join in because of our time, we have just 1 hour to for this event. So I would like you to introduce yourself on the chat box based on the format on the screen. As you can see, we'd like to know your name, your stack, that's your skill stack set, where you are joining us from, and also one fun thing about you. So I'll start from my own hand, of course. My name is Memunat Manzuma, and I am a developers relation for RetailLoop Cycle. I am joining from Ilorin, Kwara State, Nigeria. And one fun thing about me, I am foodie, and I don't really have. I have a very small stature, so when you see me eat a lot, you start imagining, oh, she eats a lot and she's very, very small, right? And another thing again is people, most cases, I used to have people thinking I am a jambite, especially when I'm going to the office. I normally carried a backpack. So with that backpack, most of people think I'm a secondary school student. So I don't really know why. Yeah, so let's get to introduce ourselves on the chat box. We don't really have much time for random, introduction. So yeah, for today episode, we'll be having check-in, of course, which we have done for almost 7 minutes already, allowing others to join in, and introduction as well, which I expect everyone to, use the chat box to introduce yourself. Come on, let's get to know ourselves better. You can send your social handles, we can follow you, get to know you more and all. Then our speaker, we are going to have our speaker on board, and of course, ends on Retail Loop. We have a little glance on how Retail Loop functions, and of course, question and answer section, and then we close for the day. Yeah. All right. So a quick introduction about Retail Loop. Yeah, so I believe most of us might have been seeing, retail loop cycle, retail loops. You keep wondering what is retail loop, yeah? So retail loop is a composable retail engine that's API that helps businesses to build scalable commerce solution. And we also, of course, we have amazing developers tools. We also have a platform that is more of like a dashboard for SMEs to manage and scale their business, right? So this API infrastructure help businesses, developers to build better experience um, while developing their e-commerce platform. So it includes product inventory management, order fulfillment, checkout, collection of customer details, having a kind of a way that you can see it. It also has a robust analysis that you can be able to view your you can be able to view your product or business, um, uh, operations, right? So you can see your daily performance, transactions, communicate with your customers, have orders placed and all. And of course, Retail Loop is powered by Retail Cycle. That's Retail Loop Cycle is powered by Retail Loop. So I believe that most of the flyers you see me sharing, you see Retail Loop Cycle. So yeah, Retail Loop Cycle is a community for developers, tech enthusiasts, business owners, retailers, retail institute, everybody that build and their focus is around businesses like e-commerce and all. So the community helps to provide it provides resources for this set of audience in order to create an amazing and also explore the greatest technology around e-commerce. So, and that is more reasons why we normally have this weekly events to bring business and people together. We invite great and amazing speakers from the industry to talk about business, e-commerce, anything that can make you successful while building your business, even as a developer while building a solution around businesses. So I will not lie, I will not take much of our time. You can quickly sign up on Retail Loop platform to see how it goes before we get to the agenda part where we can have the hands-on practical on Retail Loop. Yep, so without wasting time, I would like to introduce our amazing, great, awesome speaker. Yeah, let me tell you something. The first time I posted the flyer and announcement of this week, somebody reached out to me and was like, "Oh, I must not miss this week. Like I must not miss this week." The fact is the topic is amazing. The another fact is the speaker we are bringing on board is an hot cake in the industry. Yeah, I used to call this man my mentor, right? So he's a mentor of all. He's a great person. He has been doing a lot in terms of startup businesses, tech ecosystem and all. So I don't want to hype too much, but when I say he's my mentor, like my mentor, right? So I would like to introduce Mr. Ahmed Idris, aka P-Thinker. He is the executive director of Innovative Lab. And hello, sir, are you with us? Good evening.
Hello, good evening. Yes, I'm with you, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, thank you. We are honored to have you in our mix this evening. Yeah, so the stage is yours now. You can have your presentation. Thank you.
Well, it's really a pleasure, like I said once again, and I'm really excited to be taking you on this presentation. It's actually to be honest, I'm no expert in this field. In fact, I see a lot of people who have more experience than me, especially when it comes to e-commerce. I have a bit of my own personal experiences for sure. But one can never be too confident about everything that you know. So I'm here to just share a bit of what I know. Also to really make this more interactive as possible, because I'm not really going to do sort of a presentation. I would really love this to be more about like more interactive. So I'm going to just talk about a few things. First, I'll start with an introduction of myself, a little bit of my journey into entrepreneurship and how I came across e-commerce, and then I'll just talk a little bit more on a few things, and then maybe we'll keep the conversation going. So personally, my name is Ahmed Idris, and I'm the executive director at Enovate Lab Innovation and Impact Foundation. So we are an organization that supports innovative entrepreneurs with ideas that are making impact in the community. We help them to mold these ideas into businesses, startup SMEs that can create impact at the community and a global level, right? We help them through capacity building, mentorship, and also access to funding and other opportunities. Personally, I'm also an entrepreneur, and I build technology products, mostly in areas of fintech. Presently, I'm the CEO at Adashi, where we are trying to digitize an age-long traditional savings and lending, which some of you in the Southwest may know as Ajo. And if you are in the East, you know it as Esusu. But for those of us in the North, we call it Adashi. Recently, I've also launched a platform to provide employees who are looking for credits before their salary is being paid, and we help these employees we give them credit to buy food items, home essentials, and even sort some emergencies. And I even sort some emergencies, yeah. So this is just a little bit about me, right? The second thing is that, sorry, just a moment. Okay, so the next, sorry about that. So e-commerce, right? To me personally, I believe that e-commerce in Africa is a little bit more challenging than it is in the Western world or in Asia, where we see giants such as Alibaba, and Amazon making the stride, right? And this is because of a lot of factors, right? First of all, we have challenges when it comes to, I think, first of all, trust is one of the issues that we're having as a continent when it comes to e-commerce. And then secondly, we have infrastructural issues, internet, logistics, all these are broken. And this truly affects, the way entrepreneurs who are into e-commerce or any sort of commerce, in trying to grow and scale the businesses. So personally, I'm going to talk about a list of challenges in e-commerce, especially in areas that involves inventory management, logistics, and customer support. So one thing I'll say is that if you want to really, okay, so I didn't tell you the story, which is how I got into e-commerce, right? I've always loved selling stuff online. I used to work at the computer village in Kano. Before then, it was in Borno State, Maiduguri. It's called Post Office. In Kano, it's called Farm Center. So what happened was, even in the early days, before people started posting things online, I was already posting mobile phones and laptops on my Facebook page. If you go to my page and search for things I posted around 7 to 8 years ago, you'll see what I'm talking about, right? But then, even
Khadija.
then, I realized there were a lot of challenges. People will look at a product, they'll ask me for prices, and they'll ask me where I am, but then they won't turn up, right? Some will go ahead and even ask for my phone number, call me, but then at the end of the day, they will ask for account details, and there will be no payment. And I'll just keep waiting and waiting. So there were just so many challenges, right? Fast forward to I think around during the pandemic, I started another e-commerce which was becoming popular at the time, which was dropshipping. Now the problem which I had with dropshipping is that the cheapest place to buy items is China. Of course, we already know the challenges of buying product from China. You have to, first of all, it's not even an issue of payment, because recently we've had payment infrastructures whereby you can get yuan or RMB, the way we call it locally here in Kano. Actually, it's an official name of the UN. It's another name for the UN, RMB. So, but we prefer to call it RMB here in Kano, right? I was saying, getting product from China was a little bit difficult because language barrier. Also, if you're not placing order in large quantity, it means that you're going to spend more in shipping that product, which at the end of the day might cost even more than the same amount, the same products that is being shipped by other marketers that are bringing them in bulk. So I set up an e-commerce website. I built it myself actually using WordPress. The team was, I think, Woodmatch, something like that. It's a premium team. I bought the team, hosted the website, hosted everything, and I started selling products during the pandemic, And even after the pandemic, I continued, but eventually I realized that I was running a loss because, first of all, the money I'm spending to bring in these products, at the end of the day, if you include, there's something there, what's it called? This charges for weighing. Someone help me here. I think we all have to pay. I think for me, it's one of the most negative part of this e-commerce as a system, as a whole business, right? Well, eventually it turned out that I was spending more money to ship in product from China, and the same product is way more cheaper in the markets. You understand? And it made no business sense. It was really challenging, right? So later on, I partnered with some of these buy now, pay later fintech companies, right? And what I did was that my online shop was I integrated it with their platform, so you can come and buy product on my platform, and then the company will pay me in full, while you as a customer will go back and repay the company installmentally. It can be monthly. It's mostly monthly. So duration varies 3 months, 6 months, up to a year. So, that was a good business. It still is a good business to some extent, right? Whereby, so far, I would say this is one of the pivot I've made as an e-commerce business owner, which, in summary, all of these years is what I can say is one of the most profitable period or model I've used as an e-commerce. So, I'm telling you this story just for you to understand that there's been a lot of hurdles, trying to build an e-commerce brand. Personally, I've also been part of a logistic business which was set up specifically because of some of the challenges a friend of mine was also, encountering in the e-commerce business. He also had an e-commerce business. We worked together. He has his, I have mine. And then we realized that logistics was a huge problem for us, so we had to set up a logistic business. Well, honestly, I had my reservations about logistics even before, the wave of Go Kada, the Max, and those guys in Lagos. And then recently, when almost in every state, logistics became very popular. Even in those early days when we started logistics business, I think it was Yeah, somewhere around the pandemic as well, I think. Yeah. Yeah, logistics as a business was not really that popular then. It was just immediately after the pandemic, the business kicked off. So I had my reservation about it, and eventually, logistics is still a challenge in Africa, right? Now, the reason I'm saying all this is just so that we understand that yes, as a business, as a person who's going into e-commerce business, how can you best ensure that you're building a business that will grow? How are you sure you're going to get your money back? Or how do you even make profit? Even if it's a little bit, at least if you put in a hundred, 1 million, at least you should be making maybe 50K or 100K monthly, at least now, for all the data and the fuel where you could buy now, you know that kind of thing now. So for me, it's really, it boils down to understanding that you would have to pick a niche, right? And you have to narrow down your customer segment. You need to know who you're selling to, right? And then picking a niche means you need to decide the kind of product you're selling. I know someone who exclusively sell car products, and she's making fantastic money. She's in Abuja. She sells things like foot mats, all these shiny lights that you put in a car, stickers, not like regular car spare parts, like not engine parts or headlights or no fancy stuff, but that is related interior sort of decoration that is related to cars. And she has a website and a social media page on Instagram. And this girl is making mad money, right? So these are just some examples of the way I feel like people can leverage e-commerce. You don't want to be Jumia or Konga. You can't sell everything. Yes, car accessories, right? You can't sell everything, right? You don't have their money. And in fact, the honest truth is right now, Jumia is not making money. They are. If you do your research, you find out that they are not profitable, right? And why is a company with so much money, so much investment, always in the news? They are always placing ads. They seem to have, in fact, they have the largest customers and network of merchants or vendors on their platform, still not making money because it still boils down to all the problems that we discussed in the past. Those gaps and infrastructural challenges that we experience in Nigeria or in Africa as a whole. So for me, I'll just quickly, try and take you around how you can overcome some challenges in e-commerce, especially in areas such as inventory management, logistic, customer support, because these things require a combination of strategic planning, the technology itself, and also adapting to the unique characteristics of your market. And this is one thing I've learned to do with my platform, right? So I think the first thing is, first of all, you need to do your research and understand your local market. If you're in Abuja and you're in Lagos and you're in Kano, to be honest with you, your market is different, right? In Kano, I can tell you for free that very few people buy something from you online, especially if it's a website. They can buy from you on social media, on Instagram or Twitter, but not, putting their cards on an e-commerce website. Right? Those in Abuja and Lagos are a little bit more educated. Those people can do that, right? So you need to start by conducting your research, on the specific region that you are in. Understand the local culture. What is the consumer behavior? What is their purchasing power? What are the infrastructural limitations that I talked about? Because this will help you tailor all your e-commerce business model and operations accordingly, right? So the second thing is you need to have a reliable inventory system. So for the lady that buys and sells car accessories, what she does is she's always ordering from China, always. She has like 3 to 4 orders ongoing concurrently. There's one coming next week, one coming next month, one that is already been booked to come in 3 months time. So she always has something on ground, right? So you need to implement a robust inventory management system, and this will help you to this on your platform. This will help people to track the level of stocks that you have. Internally, it will help you to monitor your demands and manage your procurement, efficiently. Now, utilizing inventory management softwares like the one that some e-commerce platform provide is also essential because it will help you automate some of these things, right? Also, logistics. Now, to me, I always tell people logistics. I don't see prepare for logistics, yeah. But one thing I've seen work these days is a partnership with logistic companies. Right? I would not advise you to get your logistic to go and invest in logistic, buying a bike and everything because if you are not the one riding the bike, you are going to run in a loss. Because from my experience, the greatest killer of logistics or delivery business are the drivers. Now I don't want to go deep into that. The drivers and the customers, these two people. I don't want to go into that. So you need to find a reliable logistic partner, right? And then you need to consider working with a network of these partners in your area. Because to be honest with you, logistics is the bloodline of e-commerce. If people are not able to buy your product and receive it in time or receive it in good condition, I don't think you last, right? So the next point I want to make is some sort of customer support. Now, I've seen this so many times, especially in female-owned businesses, whereby they are very terrible with customer support. You don't know how to talk to your customers. You feel like you're communicating with a colleague or a friend, which is very, very wrong. People need to learn that a customer is different from, even if you know the person, the way you interact with them while you are transacting with them is totally different from the way you will talk with them casually, right? So these are some of the things people need to learn customer service, communication. These are very important skills, right? So payment, of course, we don't have to talk about payment a lot. For me, one thing I noticed is that all the years I've been selling product using e-commerce, I think not once has someone ever entered their card details. I used to partner with Paystack and Flutter. Not once has someone entered the card details to make payment. When they see a product they like, they still have to call me and they ask me for account details to make and then make transfer. So, and I used to wonder, there was the essence of this website. So it's these are some of the things you people need to take into consideration, right? Now, another thing I want to say is build partnerships. You need to collaborate with local suppliers or manufacturers or distributors, depending on what you're offering. You need to establish partnership with reliable third-party logistic providers, shipping companies, warehouses. You need to network, build relationship in your industry. Go to all these fairs, trade fairs, trade group, all these seminars. You need to build relationship and partnership with other people that are in your field. It's very essential, it's key, because you never know who will come to your aid or who is going to help you to provide have a better advantage, right? Then technology itself is very important. You can't call yourself an e-commerce platform without having a solid website, right? So I used to build websites for people, and there was a time I used to charge 50K for e-commerce, but not anymore, right? Now, the problem is people believe that an e-commerce website is just the same as a normal standard website. But the truth is it's different. The intricacies are different. So if you can't build, find a partner to join you as a co-founder so that he'll build for you. If you can't do that, then you must be ready to give people their due. Those people that build the e-commerce website, you must be ready to pay them what they are worth. Because it's very demanding. It's something that takes a lot of energy, right? And time and skill set that is required to actually achieve a functional website or technology, right? So I think these are just a few of the things I would like to discuss, right? And I think the last thing is that you need to be prepared to navigate all these challenges that are related to power, lack of NEPA, internet, all those things. You need to also be ready to navigate all those challenges. Also explore solutions that will include you to have offline delivery and just things that will enable you to be able to deliver and provide excellent service. So, to me, I think in essence, these are just ways that one can use to improve. And then if you're lucky, you'll be able to build a brand. And I'm really looking forward to a lot of e-commerce platforms that are niche based and that will do a lot of that will actually go bigger than most of the e-commerce platforms that are available. So I think we'll open up the floor for question and answers. If there's anybody, like I said, for me, this needs to be interactive because I would like to really understand the pain points people are having, and maybe perhaps from my own experience provide some sort of responses. Thank you.
Wow, wow, wow. Thank you so much to amazing speaker. In fact, he did justice to this particular topic. And you know what? My jotter is just filled up. Like I've been jotting, taking notes, tips, challenges, what best thing to do, what path to take, and all. And I believe that most of us here have also been jotting and taking notes of this amazing stuff, right? So please, if you have question for our speaker, you can use the hand raise icon so that I can call on you. You ask your question. Of course, as he said, this is an interactive section, and he wants the sections to be, interactive. So I can see hands raised already, and from my hand here, I can see Muhammad Zangina Amadou. I'm sorry for the middle name if I'm murdering the middle name. So please unmute your mic and ask your question. Thank you.
Uh, Assalamu alaikum. My name is
Alaikum
Mohammed Zangina Adamu. I'm talking to you, and I'm very happy to be part of this meeting. And I heard what the speaker has said, and he's very correct and really understand the fact. So my question is that despite the fact that we are having a lot of problem of adoption in terms of e-commerce due to the kind of knowledge and experience of our people, like what he has said, that most of our people were not being able to check in using a card and other e-commerce systems, which were already being designed for global use, which in our case, it used to be a kind of tedious for our people, because I manage a site over 3 years in Quarry Market, and I can count how many times people use a card. So most of the time you have to do a kind of a little logical thing so that you make people to patronize you. So please, what kind of easy way or technology can be used to adopt so that, to use for easy adoption for e-commerce? Because e-commerce is something that comes to stay, and we must find a way to use it to harness the benefit of it. Especially most of us were in Kano, and Kano is center of technology, and you can say like 90 or 95% of our mode of conducting business is manual. And I believe whether we take it or we don't take it, e-commerce must change the way we do our businesses. So if we can become a pioneers to change the way, method and methodology of our people conducting the business, I believe it will be a great opportunity and a kind of savior to our people, because technology is something that you can't own it and you can't have control over it. If you work on it, you achieve it, or you fail, somebody will come and achieve it. So my question is direct to the speaker, that which kind of way does he think it will be easy for our people so that we can adopt technological advancement? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Muhammad Zangina. Actually, Mr. Zangina didn't tell you the truth. He's a big ogre in technology space. You understand? So he's just trying to be humble. Well, Gaskiya, like you said, Mr. Muhammad. To be honest, I don't know. I don't want to go. I don't want to talk about the problem because we are here to talk about solution, right? I don't want to say, okay, yes, it's true. People don't like to use, online transactions or online channels to make payments. You know, especially things that has to do with cards and.
Sorry, Mr. Ahmed, if you're speaking, okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can let you know though.
Okay, all right. So sorry about that. I didn't know I muted myself. So I think, Madam Muhammad, one thing we need to just start with, Kagani, like people like you and me that are already into this, we need to start educating people and raise awareness. Because yeah, you understand? Because many people in Nigeria may be they are unfamiliar with the benefits and convenience of this online payment. You understand? We know that some of them are afraid of losing money. Security is a concern, but we need to tell them that some of these platforms are even more secure than they are imagined. You understand?
Yes.
So we need to also, you are already in the POS business, so you understand that people are already beginning to understand that yes, they can make payments with just the ATM card. So you need to tell them that even the same way you are making payment with this card is the same way you can make payment online. The difference is you need to copy this number, and pin, and they need to be careful who they give access to, all those things. So we just need to educate them. Also on the part of all these platforms, they need to simplify the payment process. Right? So maybe if, like, I know that both Paystack and Flutterwave now have pay with transfer and USSD code. So if I want to pay with any of the channels, instead of card, you can select any of these other options. So they can give you temporary accounts to pay into. So I think some of these things will help. So we need to educate people about all these things, to be honest. So for me, this is just some of the few things I feel like it's mostly about education, creating awareness, and also building, user-friendly payment options. I hope that helps.
Yeah, thank you so much. I get it.
Okay, thank you so much, our speaker. We have Ibrahim Olagoke. Ibrahim Olagoke, please unmute your mic and ask your question. Thank you.
Yeah, good evening. Thank you to Mr. Ahmed for the wonderful session. So basically, the question I actually want to ask is around investment in Nigeria in the e-commerce startup. So, what are the strategies one can put in place to to attract investors to Nigeria for e-commerce startups? And from your experience, talking about investment, do you think investors are ready? Putting in play the factors and the infrastructure we have for e-commerce in Nigeria. Are investors? I'm talking about foreign investors now. Are they ready? Would they be willing to invest in even the most comprehensive or comprehensive e-commerce startup in Nigeria? So basically, that's what I want to ask. Thank you very much.
Okay, so I'm guessing you're a startup guy.
Yeah, sort of.
Yeah, of course. So our type of people. So the truth is, well, I don't know. Not really. I don't want to say something that is not that will perhaps, how will I put it, will go in contrary to I don't know. You've been following the news, right? You're following the news,
Yeah,
especially
sure.
the one in the texting.
Yeah, sure.
All right, and I'm sure you know that there are very fewer and fewer e-commerce startups that are getting funding or going into. Of course, there are accelerators that are looking out for what's it called, for startups that are into e-commerce, but then very few of them ever truly scale. And one thing you would notice is that most e-commerce startups that go into all these accelerators or get some sort of funding are heavily niche based. I don't know if you made that observation, Ibrahim.
Yeah, sure, sure. I'm with you.
So
I'm actually following you.
exactly. So my advice will be that niche down, right? Get a niche, show some traction. In fact, traction, niche and traction, because investors almost every investor know the problem of e-commerce in Africa, not just Nigeria. So, but when you say you picked one industry that you want to conquer, yes, they know that you know what you're doing because they know you cannot service all the e-commerce sectors, various e-commerce sectors. And once you've picked a sector or a niche, and they see that yes, you're even actually making serious money or transaction, and then you can show them, what the future could look like in the 5-10 years. I think you can get some money from them. So for me, I think it's just these two things: pick a sector, get traction, and the money is yours. I hope that helps.
Oh, very well. Thank you very much for that.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you so much. We have Muhammad Salisu Sulaiman. Please omit your mic and ask your question.
Hello, everybody, and good evening. Muhammad Salisu Sulaiman speaking from Kano. The speaker earlier mentioned something about logistics, but which he, for some reasons, said he wouldn't want to go deep into that. I think that could be an essential aspect of this conversation. Looking at the fact that the customer placing an order on your platform has a concern about making payment using his card details. The second concern the customer would have would be how to get that item delivered to him. There's issue of the timing, there's issue of the consistency, there's issue of even locating the address, because for some areas like for Kano here, or I should say in Nigeria, there are some areas whereby for you to locate an address, even if given a proper landmark, tends to become an issue. If you try to run away from going into the details of logistics, how then do you think the customer will have faith in placing an order and giving you an address to deliver to, and which some of them would prefer payment on delivery? Some won't even ask for a bank account. If it is the first time they are transacting with you, they would rather say, okay, it's going to be cash on delivery. When I collect the item, then I make the payment. Something which our Hausa people would say, "Ga wuri ga waina." You give the money, you collect the item. So if the lack of confidence and trust is that bad, then what do you think of logistics? How about you thinking of introducing a kind of system for freight and asset tracking, whereby whichever customer that places the order can be able to track the device of whoever is having that item delivered to his location? Maybe it could be based on timing, as you place the order. Once the dispatch rider is on the way, you'll be given his contact detail, and then you'll be able to track his number to see his live location until he arrives wherever you are. Which the easiest way to do that without bothering about a kind of sophisticated or complex system would be maybe WhatsApp live location sharing, which would give you a level of peace that yes, your item is on the way, and even if the dispatch rider branches to drop off someone else's, at least you are confident that yes, he is headed towards your direction. I personally picked interest in that aspect, which I have started my investment on. I'm partnering with some tracking device companies and some tracking companies that have the system like Navixy and the rest, whereby whenever you place an order, the vendor gives you an ID or maybe in form of a link, whereby you can track the movement of whichever person that is delivering your item until he arrives your destination. And about the issue of confidence in making payment online. Well, our conservative northern or Kano people have their own reasons, and then the big constraint is the culture. They are more familiar with going out to the market to buy. Even not so many people are comfortable enough making payments with their cards on POS devices in the market. Not all POS devices are acceptable. So all those factors are also factors which we need to look at. Maybe some radio jingles, some online jingles and adverts could create more awareness, and then when someone gives it a try with a small money in his account, if he sees any problem, he should block it as soon as possible. And I think that is something very essential. If we look at these two major aspects, the payment aspect and then tracking of the payment security aspect and then tracking of the logistics, those aspects I think would help big time for this sector to grow. Thank you very much. And I'm listening to the speaker's response.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Sorry, before the speakers answer this or contribute, I feel there is one question particularly in the chat box that I was about to ask, but with the explanation, I would just like the speaker to do justice to the both. So the question is, how does one tackle the issue of dispatch riders? So I think it's around logistic as well. And again, we have
Yeah.
5 minutes to go. Thank you.
All right, so thank you very much. Mr. Muhammad, thank you so much for that question and the contribution. And I love the fact that you're already, hands deep, trying to solve the problem. I like people that do, not just people that talk. And honestly, I'm impressed with what you're doing, and I wish you the best. But here is why I didn't go into the topic. Now, the reason I didn't go into the topic is because of this particular session. It's not because I don't want to go into it So I didn't go into it because I feel like it's going into it will probably just take us into another road, while we will not even get the chance to discuss what we are here to discuss. But the problem with logistics is they are it's plenty, right? So I once managed about 8 vehicles. Right now, 8 bikes, right? Right now we only have 2. Actually, they only have 2 because I left when they started when the bikes came down to around 5, right? Now the issue is we've tried everything. Your tracker, I don't know. I would really love to see the solution you come up with, but we've tried everything. We have a tracker. We had a tracker, right? We still have some components of it actually at the office, and. So the issue is, okay, so let me just put it this way. Logistics, especially the one that we do, the one that has the bike, because there's a whole chain, right? It's not just logistic delivery, shipping, all those is a whole chain. It's not just delivery. Actually, is just one part of it, which is where you have a driver pick up, an order and delivers it on a bike. So that is what I'm talking about. Just that aspect is what I'm talking about, because the other aspects, most of them have been existing for years and it's solid. You understand, shipping mostly. Most shipping companies have been existing for years and they've got that covered. But delivery within, let's say, end-to-end delivery within a city or from a state to a state, we've tried that severally. And the thing is, it boils down to human factor. Like, people are the problem. The people are the problem, right? The driver is a problem. The customer is also a problem. And I'll give you an example. So today, if a customer called us to deliver or to fulfill an order, and we assign driver A to go to that customer, that's customer one. And driver A meets the customer one and delivers the order. Let's assume they had no interaction that day, right? And then he leaves and he delivers the order. The next day she calls and we still send driver A to meet customer one. She now, the customer will like, okay, if the next time I'm going to call this company and they're going to send driver A, let me just get driver A's number directly. You understand? And driver A will willingly give her, not the company's number again, but his own personal number. So the next time she's calling, she will just call driver A without the knowledge of the company, right? And then the driver will go pick up the order and deliver it on company's fuel, on company's time, without the company making any money. And that is a loss of revenue. And this is how the revenue continues to pile up in losses, right? Now, I know you would say if you put tracker and the tracker, well, like I said, it's still a human factor. If they'll put that tracker, they'll sabotage that tracker in various ways you cannot imagine. Like in ways you have no idea. They'll sabotage it. It's just like the days I used to build inventory management system for stores and restaurants and businesses. Yeah, the manager will come. It's not even the cashier. The manager will come and refuse to on in the morning, so that there's no way you even on the computer and start collecting payments. So they'll collect cash. I don't know if you're getting the idea. So in logistics, if you put tracker, they'll disable the tracker, or they'll deliberately enter water. You understand? Or just find a way to just sabotage it. So it's a lot of issues, to be honest, right? Also, the customers themselves are also a problem. Now, there's also the issue of competition. Although we know that the competition is always healthy, and they are not even enough. They are not even enough. They are not even enough. What's it called? Delivery companies, right? Yeah, a good tracking device can prevent all that can prevent that on all the companies' vehicles. I know. So we always forget that technology is an enabler, right? And that, to be honest, if people don't want to use technology, it will never be adopted. I don't know. Maybe all of us are in tech. Me and you are all in tech, right? So if people don't want to use a technology, it will never work. So I feel like, yes, it has to do with a combination of enforcement, discipline, penalties, before we can be able to fix that aspect of the business. But I'm not saying it can never be solved. I'm just saying it's a problem that I personally have not been able to crack, and that's why I was saying kudos to you. So if you're able to find a way around it, I bet you're going to make tons of money. Thank you so much. So I feel for me this is just a little I can add on this issue, because it's a very lengthy discussion and I don't want to take our time. And to be honest with you guys, I have a meeting by 5:30 and it's also super important. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Oga Mohammed, and our speaker, for doing justice to it. Like, this is very, very interesting, and I feel like we should actually set a day to discuss everything around logistics, because I feel in time of e-commerce, growing and scaling of business, I think logistics should be a standout, topic for the day to discuss. And I hope we can all, attend that business weekday so that we can have a lot of, bright knowledge on this logistic of a thing. Yeah, because right now me too, like I learned a lot, honestly. So please, as we are enjoying this topic, this discussion, I would love us to share your view, your thoughts on this topic using the hashtags and the Twitter on the Twitter handle I shared in the chat box because of time. And please also sign up to Retail Loop platform at app.retailoop.co. And we are hoping for feedback, because we have experts in our team in the call today. So we are open for feedback, your suggestions, your advice on this platform. Thank you all for joining, and we really appreciate you all from Retail Loop Cycled, powered by Retail Loop, and of course partnered with with Innovative Lab. Yeah, so we come to the end of the event, our weekly, bi-weekly event. See you in 2 weeks' time, and do have a wonderful evening. Bye, everyone.